We're live. We are live. We are live. In this conversation, we are dissecting the Ark of the Covenant. What is it? Holy or technology? Where is it? What was it used for? Oh, it's on. Hi, if you're brand new here, hi. How you loving? How you loving? How you loving? I'm Reverend Valerie Love. And we are live on Wednesday nights. It's Happy With You Wednesday. First of all, Happy With You Wednesday. Colton! Happy Pride Month, Colton. How you loving? How you loving? How you loving? I know you are doing fantastic and amazing, having your transformation. Congratulations on your transformation, your amazing transformation, Colton. It's been so amazing to watch. I put a little backdrop here. I thought it would be wider, yet it's all good. I'm gonna go with what we got. I'm gonna go. I got this from Happy Pride. I got this from Sedona. Yeah, got this from Sedona. Actually, it kind of has the rainbows colors in it. So 84 pounds. Colton, you have lost 84 pounds. Oh my God. Since February. This is only June. Oh my God. Everybody celebrate Colton and his incredible transformation. This was a lot of work. Colton, I saw you also overcoming fears. I saw you on Facebook, like, you're documenting your journey, and it is so powerful and it's so inspiring. And all of us are doing our heavy lifting, right? Some of us have heavy lifting to do in the physical body temple. Some of us have weight that we could shed in the emotional or spiritual body by forgiveness. Some of us are dealing with past life trauma. All of us are working out our stuff. So it's so inspiring to everyone when we see one of us winning and ascending, because then that's the energetic space for everyone to win and ascend. And I freaking love that. That's why I love community. And you all are going to hear from Colton, because guess what? Baby, wait a minute, Colton. I gotta blow up your spot right now, because Colton is so freaking fantastic. I gotta blow up your spot right now, Colton. So Colton is one of the authors in my book, which published by Sacred Stories Publishing in the Common Sentience book series. And this is a whole series that is an incredible series. Well, in which Colton's story of coming out of evangelical Christianity. Woo, he was deep in evangelical Christianity. I'm about to show you his story right now. Wow, that was quite the story. It was quite the story. There are about 12 or 13 stories in here of witches and their stories and just what occurred for them over the years. And you have got to reach here. It says, oh, Colton, I think we have is that your married name or is that your single name? Well, the book came out. I think you all were on your honeymoon, maybe. Can y'all see that? Colton? That's the name you gave the publisher, though, so I'm pretty sure that's the name you wanted them to use, huh? You've been kicking Fear's ass. Bam, bam, baby. Oh, that's your married name. Okay, Colton. So it's the right name then. Okay. So, because we started the book like a couple of years ago, remember? So, from Pentecostal to practicing magic. This story of Colton in the book Witch is so good, as well as all of our stories. There's about 12, 13 stories in here, right in the middle of the book. You would love this book. You would love, if you have this book, please, 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 please be so kind and leave a review. I'm going to go online and I'm going to share screen for a minute. And I'm going to show us, well, we're going to share screen anyway because we're about to get started. I'm going to show you where you can buy this book. Now, you might notice I have a different background, and that is all for today, baby, because we're about to talk about some stuff today. Oh, my goodness. So I want you to go to christianwitches.com. You can go to christianwitches.com /books You can go to valerielove.com/book. So if you are at Valerie Love, I want you to go right here to books, and I will drop a link. Hi, this. These are the books, and this is where you can buy them. I'm going to drop a link if you would be so kind as to use one of our links. That would be awesome. Come on in, everybody. Come on in. Come on in. I'm so happy you are here in person. We are talking about the Ark of the Covenant tonight. What is it? Stay all the way to the end because, as always, I have resources for you. Now, if you want to go to christianwitches.com, you go to christianwitches.com/books. And we just did some fun stuff on the Christian Witches Books page. Don't you love it? Christian Witches Books. And I'm going to drop this in here. Oh my goodness. It's Witchy Wednesday, baby. It's Witchy Wednesday. I have witches and consider myself on level 5 witch. Oh, all right now. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Okay, so tonight we are talking all about, because this is Christian witches, because we did not abandon the Bible, because we did not treat the Bible as if it was something we were never to pick up, never to look at again, which I absolutely understand. The Bible's not for everyone. It is not for everyone. I totally get it. Also, when we look at the Bible here in Christian Witches, remember, we are not looking at the Bible using it to break down people, tear down people. We're not using the Bible to beat people up around here. We had enough of that in Christianity. That's not what we're using the Bible for here. We make it very plain and clear. And as for me and my household, I don't even take the Bible as the inerrant word of God, and I do not take the Bible as a spiritual book at all. That's what this whole series is about. You've got to come to your own decision and your own conclusion as to what the Bible is for you, right? Or if you want to be bothered with the Bible at all or not, and completely up to you. These are my findings. This is me sharing with you what has been an incredible 30-year plus journey now of not only meditation, traveling the globe to spiritual hotspots, going all around the world, doing deep study, deep travel to these mystical locations, all of it, all of it, all of it. I've got some goodies to show y'all tonight. With all of that, I'm sharing with you what has occurred for me. Plant medicine, sweat lodges, ayahuasca, shrooms. Your sis goes in. Your auntie goes in, and this is what I can tell you for sure. What I can tell you for sure is there is no sky daddy. Stop looking up there. All of you know this, because you probably wouldn't be listening to this message if you didn't already know it. It's on some level of consciousness, even if we're not quite yet ready to accept it. We know that you're looking for God. Look in the mirror. God is the last place they told you to look. They told you to look in a book or books. It's in the Quran. It's in the Bible. It's in the Torah. It's in the Bhagavad Gita. It's in. He's in the sky. No, boo. God is right where you are. The real God is not in the Bible. The Bible is not about God, and the Bible isn't even spiritual. Let's get into it. If you're new here to the channel, I'm Reverend Valerie Love. Here we are on Witchy Wednesday. We're here every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Tonight we do have the Coven. So if you desire to join us in the Coven, you can apply at Christian Witches. Go to christianwitches.com, and I'll just drop the Coven link in the chat for you. If you think the Coven might be for you, an incredible, incredible gathering of witches that you may love. Okay? Why did they reject the Ethiopian Bible? Excellent question, Samuel, because they don't want you to have all the truth. The powers that be do not want you to be enlightened. The powers that be do not want you to be sovereign and powerful. If you're sovereign and powerful, what do you need with go-betweens? The churches would be empty. The religions would crumble. They can't have that. They need the institutions. The institutions need your energy to prop them up. They need your energy. Okay? Now, I have nothing against church. Church is wonderful. It's great. You go to churches. You go to mosques. Everyone's experience, have whatever you experience you desire. It's wonderful. I am sharing with you that you will not be able to find the true infinite source in any of those places, because the true infinite source is you and you are it. So if you are still looking for something outside of yourself, I am happy to inform you, you will not find it. You will find it by closing your eyes, going within, and being in complete oneness, mentally and on all levels, with the infinite source in which we live, breathe, move, and have our very existence. And it's not in the Bible. The Bible's not about God. I keep saying it. It's a shocking discovery, yet the Bible's not about God. We do want you to pick up the books in the Christian Witchcraft series, because these books will help you if that is something that you're doing right now. If you are unraveling from Christianity, if you are deconstructing, if you're trying to get over the guilt of, but they said God don't like witches, thou shalt not suffer a witch to live. God never said that. People said that because they didn't want you to use witchcraft or magic and be in your power and determine what you're going to do in your life and create in your life according to the will in the solar plexus, the infinite will of the divine source. That's why they told you not to use witchcraft and magic, not because it's evil. They made it evil in the Middle Ages. The medieval period is when they married witches to the devil. Witches were never married to the devil, still to this day. And most witches I know don't even believe in a strange character called the devil. I have no evidence for a devil whatsoever. I do have evidence for people with loony minds. Oh, we got plenty of evidence of that. Blaming it on some external culprit who is the source of all evil, who was once good and then turned evil. No, that's a story, a metaphor, a mythology to help us understand a deeper truth, to make great choices. Okay, so we had the Christian Witches Convention. It was amazing. I want you to go to ChristianWitchesConvention.com and put your name there so that we can notify you when tickets go on sale for next year. Now, I do also want to let you know that 888 is coming. It is a portal. Do you see this portal? You go in nature, you can just portal through. Do you know that there are portals all over this universe? Do you know that you can create portals with your mind and your consciousness? Do you know that you probably have created multiple portals and went through them and maybe did it unconsciously? Maybe you did it intentionally. Good for you, master. Go for it. Master of consciousness. Powerful witches, wizards, warlocks, magical beings, necromancers, mediums, psychics, all of you amazing beings. You probably already created portals and went right through them to where you desire to be. You don't have to take the long way around. So what is the Lion's Gate? The Lion's Gate is the opening of a portal, and it connects us to the energies of the planet star system Sirius. And this year, 88 is also 888. Why? It's 2024. So this year it's 888. 888, triple eights. Do you know? Let me come off screen share to tell you this. Let me come off screen share for a second to tell you this part. Let me close this. Did you know in gematria, Jesus, I know it didn't have a J. There was no J in the Greek language. That was a later iteration. Yeshua, his name in gematria, guess what his number is? The real God is you, boo. Yes, Neo. And what a name you have, Neo. You know this. The real God is you, in you, as you, through you. The real God, look in the mirror. There's the real God. People hate to hear that. It's 8. That's right. That's right. 888 is Jesus' name in gematria. Yeshua. It wasn't a J. It was a Y. His name was Yeshua. His name in gematria is 888. Wow, there's a flickering going on that I didn't even notice before, it seems like. 888. Yeshua is God and you're God, Neo. Everybody's God. There's no one that's not God. There's nothing that's not God. It's all. It's the infinite consciousness. Okay? It's not a person. And let me pause for a moment and share this. Family, I have been meditating for decades. I have had shrooms experiences. I have had ayahuasca experiences and these DMT experiences. Wow, I have met some incredible beings in these DMT experiences. The infinite consciousness is all, and that is all there is. There is not a 3D world. There is no such thing as me and you, me over here, you over there. These are all constructs. We are in not a computer simulation, we are in a construct, we are in a matrix that is not real. We are making it up in our consciousness. Ye are gods, and physics is even proving this, that space and time are constructs. They are not real, they have no basis in reality, and three scientists received the Nobel Prize for proving the universe has no local reality. What does that mean? It means it's not there when you're not looking at it. Ho, ho, ho. It means you're making it up as you go, which is the exact same thing the gurus, the yogis, the saints, and sages all throughout time have told us in spirituality, that this is not real. This, they call it Maya, the world of illusion. This is not real. You, however, you are infinite. You are real. You have been here before you had a body. And you will still continue. Your consciousness will still continue after you drop this avatar body. Remember the movie Avatar? When the consciousness was removed from the avatar body just fell. Like my head wrap, right? The avatar body could only exist while the consciousness was hooked to the avatar body. They already told you this in Hollywood. You see, the people who are creating these things, the people who are quote unquote the top of the food chain, they all know this. They're all practicing the occult. They're all in their magic circles and their cloaks. They're all using spiritual forces. They're all in communication with infinite beings beyond this level of consciousness, the third dimension. They already know this. The ones who don't are the masses. That's why we're having this conversation. The masses are still scared. The same people that told you not to do magic, I bet you they're wearing a cloak tonight and getting in a ritual with some of their friends. But they told you not to use magic. Okay? So, family, own it. That's why we're having this series. You are it. It's right here. You don't have to look for it. Yes? The infinite source is nameless. It doesn't have a name. So when I say it's not Yahweh, it's not Jehovah, it's not the Elohim, it's not Allah, Krishna, Olodumare, all the names, Wankantanka. We have a lot of names. We just came up with these things so we could make it accessible, so we could connect to something. The true infinite consciousness has no name. It is nameless, birthless, timeless, deathless. It has no gender. It knows nothing about the third dimension. The third dimension is a construct that arises from consciousness, not the other way around. Okay? Yes. Yes. And so Allah, Yeshua, it's wonderful. It's wonderful that we have all these names for the infinite source, because the infinite source is not, it's very hard for our human mind to connect with just consciousness, like just consciousness, because that's all it is. It simply is consciousness. It doesn't have a color, it doesn't have a flavor, it doesn't have a will for you. It doesn't judge people. It doesn't tell you you're good and you're bad. It didn't make hell. It didn't make heaven. These are all things to help us understand higher level truths that are now encoded in myth. That's why we study the occult. What does occult mean? Occult means hidden. Yet, hidden means you can have a revelation. You can uncover what is hidden. Yes, can't you? That's what we're doing here. That's what we're doing here. So all gods are one. This is a good question, Cruella. This is an excellent question. So here is, God of the Bible is not a good dude. Here is the deal. There's infinite consciousness, timeless, void. It is all things and no thing. The infinite consciousness. Does it have a name? None of that. You are the infinite consciousness. I am infinite consciousness. Now, in infinite consciousness, emerge what are called conscious agents. Now, I'm using the phrase that is termed by Professor Donald Hoffman, who is a neuroscientist at the University of California in Irvine. I even quote him in the Witch Book because if you understand physics, you understand magic. Because magic is a science. It is an art and a science. It's part art, it's part science. Now, Professor Hoffman, Dr. Hoffman, neuroscientist, I'm not just quoting regular people. I am talking about the absolute cutting edge masters in their field. I'm talking about Nobel Prize winners are saying this, that the universe is not locally real. We're in a construct. Oh, and they proved it with mathematics. Well, we already proved it in meditation, but it was nice to have the mathematical computations to go along with it because I love science. Here's what Professor Hoffman calls them. Professor Hoffman calls them conscious agents. What is a conscious agent? A conscious agent is any one of a uncountable number. Could be trillions. It could be so many uncountable. There's 8 billion conscious agents just on this planet. If you're only counting the humans, then look at all your ancestors. Look at all the angels. Look at all the. There are uncountable conscious agents. Now they live in many different dimensions. Not all of them are in the same dimension. Now, it's even proven by science that there are at least 10 to 11 dimensions. That's what we found here. Now, of course, we only have 4 dimensions we have 3 dimensions of space and 1 dimension of time. So we're talking about it's really only 4D. Yet you can go to 5D. That's when you start to use things that are beyond time and space. That's what the spiritual people are helping us to understand. Spiritual people are helping us to understand you want to go to 5D consciousness. 6D, not 5G. Most of y'all are on 5G. That's not helping you. We're talking 5D. 5D is inside, okay? Go from 5G to 5D. You mad if you can't get 5G on your phone somewhere when you're at a place where the reception is not that good. Fuck that. You want to go to 5D consciousness and beyond. Dr. Donald Hoffman calls them conscious agents. What are they? They have a consciousness and they can choose to do things. They're having experiences. So you could be talking to a conscious agent that appears to you like an angel. Why does it appear to you as an angel? Because angels are in your consciousness, and therefore when it appears to you, because all these conscious agents can shapeshift. You've been shape-shifting. You've been shape-shifting for thousands of years. Eons you've been shape-shifting, because every time you came into another avatar body, you picked another avatar body. This time I keep telling people, I'm not a black woman. I just look like one. Nothing wrong with that. I love black people. I love everyone. When I say that I love black, it doesn't mean I don't dislove something else. Dislove is not even a word, right? That's the avatar body I chose for whatever I was going to do in this lifetime. I was probably a Chinese man in another one, a Russian woman in another one, on and on and on. Now, okay, family? Come on in, come on in, come on in. How you loving, how you loving, how you loving? Okay? Does that make sense, family? Yeah, so you want to go to 5D, consciousness and beyond. Well, some of these beings are in dimensions of consciousness that are so far beyond the 3rd dimension that if you didn't close your eyes and exit the 3rd dimension, which I love to do all the time, that's what you're doing in meditation. You're exiting the 3rd dimension. How do you know you're exiting the 3rd dimension? Because you are leaving behind your 5 senses. You shut off your 5 senses. You closed your eyes. You're not eating anything. You're not listening to this 3rd dimensional construct. You're not touching things around here, and you're not in you're not sniffing around. You parked the five senses for a period. That is true meditation. You have parked your body, you have parked the five senses, and now you are in ultimate. And you know this because if you've ever done a shrooms trip, boom, you're in ultimate reality soon as them shrooms digest in your system. You're in ultimate reality soon as that DMT starts to hit your DMT receptors. You are in infinite reality, boom, as soon as you have a good bar for, you know, a purge with ayahuasca. I've done ayahuasca many times. Boom, you have a, yes, we do have more than five senses. You are now in infinite reality. Infinite reality does not require the five senses. That's where the party is, beyond the senses. You know what I'm talking about. And there, once you're there, you can talk to any number of conscious agents. Okay, let's continue. By the way, smash up the likes, absolutely share, and absolutely subscribe to the Valerie Love YouTube channel and the Christian Witches YouTube channel because, oh my God, the channels are growing like gangbusters and I freaking love it. Now, I want you to go to valerielove.com/events, and I want you to go to christianwitches.com events. And there you're going to see how you can join us in Bali at the Lion's Gate. We're doing a Lion's Gate ritual in Bali. We're also going to be in Sedona. We're also going to be in Salem. That's how you can find out how you can join us. Let's talk about the Ark of the Covenant. We're going to talk about where is it now? Biblical references, what are the uses, what are the effects, what's the scientific data about the Ark of the Covenant, what is the relationship to the Great Pyramid of Giza? Whoa. Is it technology? That's what we've got to answer. Is the Ark of the Covenant holy or is it technology? This is one of human history's most sought after relics. They made a whole series of movies about the Ark of the Covenant. You mean to tell me people all over the world have been looking for this thing? Where is this thing? Is it in Ethiopia? Is it somewhere in the Americas? Is it in Scotland? Is it in Jerusalem? Is it in the Vatican? Is it in Jordan? Where is the Ark of the Covenant? Now, spoiler alert, I'm not going to tell you where it is. I'm going to tell you some of the possibilities of where it could be. I can't tell you what to think. You've got to make up for your mind what to think. Yet there are many possibilities of where the Ark of the Covenant could be. Where is it? Now, it's mentioned over 200 times in the Bible. And let's look at some of these times that it was mentioned in the Bible. We're going to come back to being a capacitor in a moment. Here are the times it was mentioned in the Bible. We remember, think about these descriptions of the Ark of the Covenant. The Ark of the Covenant was carried, as we know, with two poles. But before we go into the poles, let's talk about how it was made. Here is how it was made. It was made of acacia wood, lined inside with gold, lined outside with gold. Keep this in mind. This is very important to understand. The Bible is giving you a big clue right here. Then, of course, we know it had the rings on it, right? And the poles had to be inserted into the rings so that you did not touch the ark itself. It also told us that on the top were two cherubim and that they were facing each other, and that this formed the mercy seat, right? The mercy seat is above where the two cherubim were, and that it was said in the Bible that God, quote unquote God, which was not God, we've already talked about that in prior episodes, none of the El, the Elohim, El Elyon, El Shaddai, none of those are God. I explained about who all of those are. They are all star travelers, ancient astronauts who came to this planet who had all various motives. Some were very loving and wonderful, and some were not, just like us. They are our great, great, great ancestors, among other ancestors that we also have on this planet. We have a few different ancestors That's why we are one family, because we have shared ancestry. If you go all the way back 450,000 years ago. Now, it says also that Aaron, not Adam, Aaron had to have protective gear to enter into the most holy, where the ark was housed. And it was a very specific construction. Of course, it was a turban. It was a tunic. Over the tunic was also another garment. Also, over that was a breastplate. The breastplate had up at the shoulders, it had stones there. Then it had a gold chain. Then it had 12 stones. And we are aware that according to the Hebrew version of the story, these 12 stones stand for the 12 tribes of Israel. Right now, what happened with this art? Think about these stories. Think about these stories. We've read these stories in the Bible. We've heard these stories. Think about these stories. And now think about these stories from a different perspective. Because when you study the Bible, when you're looking at it from the perspective that this is God and God is doing all these amazing, miraculous things. But what if you were to look at it from another perspective? What if you were to look at it from the perspective of these are all ancient aliens? This is Enki and Enlil and Anu and Marduk and Inanna and Ninurta and Nergal and Ninma. We know their names. We know the family. These are all ancient visitors, characters who came here, right? Well, if that's who the first half of the Bible is about, and all pantheons that we have on this planet currently, including the pantheon in India, the pantheons of Egypt, Greece, Babylonia, Assyria, we could go on to Acadia, and of course, ancient Sumer. All these pantheons are fashioned after the first. What is the first? The Anunnaki family. The Anuna, those who from heaven to earth came, and the Bible calls them the Elohim. What does Elohim mean? Elohim is a plural term that means gods or magistrates or judges or rulers or like bosses, I guess you could say. Okay. Now, it is very disturbing to even consider this for some people, not for me. I love considering this. There are some people that this is very disturbing for them to even think about, because it would absolutely change the foundations of the three Abrahamic religions that we have on the planet. You know, I feel like the Indian people in India got it right. They didn't make it a radical religion, yet some of the other, people on the planet made these gods into God, put it in the holy books. And Allah also comes from the El, or the Elohim. El Elyon means the El who is above the other Els. El Shaddai means the El of the mountain. They're all Els. Have you ever wondered why they're all Els? The Elohim, because that is the name that the Bible attributes to these star characters that came here. Talks about fallen angels, Gabriel, Michael, Raphael. They're all Els. The 200 watchers in the book of Enoch. Enoch told you right. Enoch said they were watchers because they were watching humanity. Enoch did not say they were angels. That was all changed later to make it mystical and, oh, it's God, it's mystical. No, this was real, and it was technological, and it was astrological, and it was so, I'm aware of how bizarre this all sounds, because it is absolutely shocking the more you go down this rabbit hole. I used to listen to people who said something about the Anunnaki, and I used to think, yeah, it's conspiracy theorists. These people don't have anything better to do with their life, and now I'm one of those people. Wow. So think about this. So I said all that to say We've been looking at the Bible through one lens. So therefore, that's all we're going to see, right? I looked at the Bible through the lens of being a fundamentalist Christian for 26 years. That was the lens through which I was looking at the Bible. Now I look at the Bible as a book that has astrology in it, magic, mysticism. It has ancient astronauts. Uh, it has technology. That's how I'm looking at the Bible now, not as a spiritual book at all. Even though it can be spiritual, you can make anything spiritual, right? It's essentially not a spiritual book. It's humanity's book that is solving many issues and questions of humanity. It tells us our origin story, even though it's giving it to us in coded language, encoded in myth. Myth is not a lie. Myth is a code to be unlocked. That's where your occult wisdom and understanding comes into play. So if we're now looking at the Bible saying, okay, all of these were Anunnaki, and now we look at the Ark of the Covenant, let's just look at it. It says the Ark of the Covenant, it was being carried, and the oxen stumbled, and Uzzah reached out his hand to steady it, and he died right there. Now, the Bible says, the myth, God struck him down, right? And in the churches, they tell us, oh, you couldn't touch it. It was mystical. It was the presence of God. It was mystical. What about it was electrical? What if Uzzah was electrocuted? I'm going to talk about that more in a moment. Okay, let's go further. Samuel says that the people, when the Philistines got the ark, because they were always fighting and warring, one L against the other L, they were always fighting and warring. And this is all in the Bible. Well, the Philistines got a hold of the Ark of the Covenant. And when they had it, they put it in their holy house to Dagon. And when they came back the next morning, the god had toppled and fell over, right? We read this story in the book, in the Bible. Then they put the big statue of Dagon back up, and they came the next day, and it fell down, and this time it was all in pieces. We could maybe say that this is a metaphor. Okay, I don't know if any of that's really actual fact. Okay, and then they said that the Ark of the Covenant, the people around it kept getting tumors. And so they moved it from one place to another place. When they moved it to another place, people could start getting tumors too. Does that sound like radiation? Now, I understand that if you're a person living maybe thousands of years ago, maybe you would have thought that a cell phone was high magic. It's not. It's technology. Okay, let's go further. Okay, so now there was another instance where the Ark of the Covenant was there, and it said 70 people died. So it looks mysterious because they probably don't even understand what they have in front of them. They probably don't even understand what the Ark is. Even though the Anunnaki who came here from a planet very far away were extremely skilled star travelers and extremely advanced in their technology. And they were the ones who were giving the instructions to Moses on Mount Sinai about how to construct this thing. Now, how about it then said that only the Kohathites could carry this? And to this day, if you know a Jewish person by the name of Cohen, they are supposedly descended from this tribe. They're the only people that could carry the Ark of the Covenant. We know that this was the Levitic tribe, right? The Levites. Then it says something else interesting. There above the cover between the two cherubim that are over the Ark of the Covenant, I will meet with you and give you all my commands for the Israelites. I'm going to meet with you, which makes me consider that could this have been a device that could produce a holographic image? Notice it was housed in its own inner sanctum. It was in the most holy. And then outside of the most holy was the holy. And then outside of that was the courtyard, temple courtyard. right? We've read all this in the Bible. We know all about Solomon's temple. We know all about the tabernacle furs they were carrying around in the wilderness. And then they finally wanted to build a temple. And David loved God so much. And he said, I want to build a temple for you. And God said, no, you have too much blood on your hands. You can't build me a temple. But your son can, Solomon, and his Solomon built this big, elaborate, fabulous temple with all the crystals and the gold and this and the, that and the other. The Solomon had 1,000 wives, and the women led him astray. That's the story. So in Solomon's temple, there was the courtyard, then there was the holy, then there was the most holy. I doubt if the original setup of this was spiritual at all. I doubt it. It probably was simply set up very much like if you go and get a radioactive, if you get an x ray right now, if you get an MRI right now, you're in a room yourself, they put you in there, they close the door, the technician has some kind of protective apron. I mean, it's very apparent to me that this is all technology. It's very apparent. It's everything we do right now, except we have been so hoodwinked into believing that all of this is spiritual, all of this is God, all of this is God having a favorite people, which God doesn't. The infinite source of the entire universe from which we all emerge does not have a favorite group of people. There's no favorites. That's a story. I don't know. Some people may say that that's anti Semitic. I don't know if that's anti Semitic or if it's simply the truth, beloved. God doesn't have. This is Juneteenth. This is Juneteenth as I'm speaking to you today. It is a national holiday in the United States. Happy Juneteenth to everyone who that is meaningful to. Why is Juneteenth a holiday? Because our people, the people of the African diaspora, were enslaved. And the law was passed that slavery was over and abolished. And there were people that still did not obey the law and still kept people slaved. And the slaves didn't know they were free until they had to come around and herald, y'all are free. Get on out of these plantations. And it happened on June 19th, so we call it Juneteenth. Family. Black people have had horrible times on this planet. Jewish people have had horrible times on this planet. African people have had horrible times on this planet. European people have had horrible times on this planet. Do you get where I'm going with this? Aztec people have had horrible times on this planet. Caribbean people have had horrible times on this planet. Do you get where I'm going with this? Please show me a group of people that haven't had a horrible time on this planet. There ain't no favorites. And there ain't no cast offs. All of that is story. It's imagination. It's made up. Now let's go further. I know I'm very controversial. I'm very controversial. I know. This is for all of us to awaken from the dream that we have been in. This is for all of us to awaken, all of humanity to awaken, not just Black people, not just white people, not this people, not this that people, not just the star seeds, not just the Pleiadians, not just all, to awaken to our true infinite divine nature and assume our rightful sovereignty in this life and in many dimensions beyond, and effect absolute magnificent global change for all. And so we can finally enter into the Galactic Federation, because we still can't let all the people on the planet know there's actual, we don't want to call them aliens, that there's actually intelligent life beyond us. People would just lose their shirt. That's why the US government, they know it, and they keep leaking little bits, because it's very disturbing for people to think that these creatures, I don't want to say creatures, they're our family members from other star systems. It's very upsetting for people to think that they're right here. Some could be sitting in this room with me right now in a different dimension. Some could be sitting right next to you right now. Some could be inhabiting some of the bodies around you. They're not really humans. I know, I know. And many people have said, I was thinking that myself. Yep. See, these are all the things that people are very afraid to think about because it just cracks the foundation of everything we've believed for so long. When I say crack the foundation, okay, we've also heard this is something else we heard. We heard that the Ark of the Covenant contained the Ten Commandments, right? The tablets. The tablets were not what we think they are. That's also technology. It also included Aaron's rod that budded, and it also included a pot of manna. And supposedly, manna could have even been a conductive device, a conductive material as well. If these are artifacts, then we would call that a reliquary. A reliquary, for me as a witch, holds sacred relics. Numbers says that the Ark of the Covenant went before the people to find a place for them to rest, and that there was a cloud over it. That's fascinating. What's happening there? Okay, then the Ark of the Covenant was marched around Jericho, and we know the story. They marched around for 7 times, right? And they blew the trumpets, and they had the Ark of the Covenant there, and the walls of Jericho fell. Oh, God did it. Maybe it was a pulse, maybe it was a some kind of weaponry from the Ark of the Covenant. Now, let me give you the connection between the Ark of the Covenant. Some say that there is a connection between the Ark of the Covenant and ancient Egypt. And I myself can absolutely see the possibility in that. Here is what we want to look at. In the Great Pyramid of Giza, listen carefully. First of all, put it in the chat if you've been to the Great Pyramid of Giza. Put it in the chat. I've been there. You can just put I've been there. Who has been to the Great Pyramid of Giza? Now, if you've been to the Great Pyramid of Giza and you actually climbed up in it, which I did twice, I'm going to show you a picture, I'm going to show you a video in a moment. And you got inside of the room that is in the Great Pyramid. In it is a granite coffer. It's a huge granite box. If you've been inside the Great Pyramid, you saw it. What I found let me show you a video of it now. Hold on. Let me show you what I'm talking about. I want to give you the visual so you can see what I'm talking about. There it is. Do you see that? Let me turn off the sound. This is it right here. It's pure granite. Okay, I took this video footage when I was in Egypt the first time. There's inside of it. Inside of it, it's a box. It's a big granite box. This is the room where it's housed in. The energy in there is off the charts. Do you see not one hieroglyphic at all? Now I'm going to come off screen share for a second. Because you've got to hear this, family. Who has been to the Great Pyramid of Giza? Hey. Most of the people looking like people are definitely not human. Hello. Yes, the Irish, my ancestors were treated awful when they came to this country. Absolutely. Most of the people here, that's right. Hey, you just jumped on. Hey, how you doing? How you loving? Humans and grew exponentially after the Ice Age, just everything was extinct. Okay, excellent. Okay, who has been in the Great Pyramid of Giza? Has anyone been in the Great Pyramid of Giza? I'm going to tell you something about going inside the Great Pyramid of Giza. No hieroglyphics. Why is that important? Do you believe there is still a creator? Absolutely. There is a source from which we all emerge. Yet there is no God that's like making a pelican and then making a worm and then making a gnat and then that's not how the infinite source works. The infinite source works through symbols and through code in the universe. It's a code. The whole universe is a code. And you can tell it's a fractal code, and you can tell the code because you see the code in anything, and it is mathematical, and it is perfect. And the code is so perfect. It's like a computer code, right? Like there's a computer code running right here that I can hop on this stream. We're doing it right now. I can hop on live stream on YouTube due to the computer code, yet the code is not telling me what to say. Within the code, I can do this, that, or the other. I could speak, I could sing. Yes? The code is making it possible for all of us to do all of these things, right? Yes. Okay, who made that? That all came from the infinite source. The infinite source put that in place. The infinite source, which is consciousness, which does not have a beginning, doesn't have a name, doesn't have an end, doesn't have a book, doesn't have a holy house. It's not even interested in any of those things. The infinite consciousness that only can be reached when you're in meditative states. You are completely, when you turn off the mind, you are completely in infinite consciousness. The infinite consciousness is the intelligence through which, by law and numbers, this whole thing arises out of that. It's almost like it's exactly like computer code. They made a computer code that can run YouTube. Then you can come on YouTube and you can make a video that's you can make a video that's about cooking. You can make a video that's about sewing. You can make a video about crochet. You see, so that's how we get a pelican, and that's how we get a squirrel, and that's how we get a butterfly, and that's how we get a mountain. God didn't, there's no God person. We've been so brainwashed and hoodwinked, right? Over years of religion, thousands of years of religion. We've been so hoodwinked into thinking thoughts about God that after a while become restrictive of our spiritual evolution. Our beliefs become prisons. What beliefs am I talking about? That there is a God, a person. It's not a person. That this person is a man. No, he's not. There's no man, woman, or anything in infinite consciousness. That this person has a book. No, it doesn't. That this person has a hell and a heaven. It has a reward and a punishment system. No, it doesn't. See, the reward and the punishment system is not even reward and punishment. Let me change my languaging. Thank you, infinite consciousness. It is a system of alignment or misalignment. If you are aligned with the infinite consciousness, love, beauty, peace, we all know what are the virtues. If you are aligned with the infinite consciousness, you do good for others. You are a loving person. You are a kind person. You're a person of good character. You live according to the 7 Hermetic laws, right? We know the laws of this universe, do unto others, karma. Every group of people has some kind of idea about karma, that what you're putting out, you're getting back. That's law of the universe. So the universe is ordered. And it is ordered according to symbols. And you can tell that it's ordered according to symbols because if you listen to Terrence Howard, he's talking about the flower of life, an infinite symbol that is a building block of the universe. It is said, think about this, it is said that outside of space and time, physicists like Nima Armani Hamed, look him up. I hope I'm saying his name right. Nima Armani Hamed. Nima Armani Hamed and their team have found structures that are outside space and time. They're calling them decorated permutations. They're calling it the decorated permutations. And what is the other one they call it? There's a the name will come back to me in a moment. These are all beyond space and time, and they are fractal. They are patterns. patterns of energy from which all things emerge in a perfect symmetry. That's source. That's the true source. Is consciousness, infinite consciousness. I don't have a relationship with infinite consciousness because I am infinite consciousness. No one has a relationship with infinite consciousness because infinite consciousness is what you are. Woo, baby. Are we getting this? Are we getting this? Are we getting this, family? So you don't think that infinite consciousness can't erase you when it wants? Absolutely not. Infinite consciousness, this is a mathematical, let me share with you an energetic fact. Energy cannot be destroyed. Energy cannot be destroyed. It can change forms. This is a fact of physics. You can't destroy energy, destroy consciousness. You are infinite consciousness. How can you destroy infinite consciousness? This is why these churches and religions have our minds all twisted up in the game. And I'm simply here to let you say, if you want to, you can untwist yourself and you'll be free as the day is long. Freedom. Spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, financially. Freedom in your life. Freedom from guilt, freedom from shame, freedom from all the bonds that were placed upon us that are not real, family. Do you know what it is like to be free of all of that? Cut your chains. And no, God didn't say make us in our image. God didn't say that. The Elohim said that. And then they proceeded to create, not create, they proceeded to do a genetic manipulation, a mashup in their species and an existing bipedal hominid that was already here, that was erect in Africa. And they called it the Eden. The Bible calls it the Eden. Look it up. Okay, family? Look it up. Yes, be free. Be free, be free, be free. God didn't say all that. God don't got no hell waiting for you. Hell is one of the most ridiculous stories they made up about God, the infinite consciousness, the all that is. God doesn't have a hell waiting for you if you don't do it at once. God doesn't hate gay people. God doesn't hate witches. It is time for humanity to be free of all of these ridiculous notions. How can it be 2024 and we're still believing this shit? I'm floored that we're still believing fairy tales from a 2,000-year-old book rather than peering into the book and seeing what is it really telling me. What is it really telling me? We're so stuck in religiosity that we cannot even fathom a God that ain't angry. God's not angry. God's not angry, family. I assure you, the infinite consciousness is not angry. As a matter of fact, you can tell that it's not angry because whenever you're in the infinite consciousness, outside of thoughts, just going to a shroom strip, you're in bliss instantaneously, infinite pure bliss, perfection, beauty, harmony, symmetry. Isn't it insane, Aurora Day? Oh my God. Didn't they try to fool us? Didn't they try to pull the wool over our eyes? But guess what? It didn't work because you can't get all of us. You can't get all of us, right? So, family, we've got to look at archaeology. I'm going to show you something now. Let's go back on the screen share because I got to show you something else that will blow your mind. So, I showed you that I was inside. This is me inside the Great Pyramid of Giza. And I want to show you something else. Let's go to this. I've got a couple of pictures to show you. So there's a great picture. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this, family. Look at archaeology. This is me at the Great Pyramid of Giza in Egypt. Okay, I got the receipts. I went to all these places to look for it, look at it myself because I had to see it for myself. This is me at these pictures are not airbrushed or not, they're not AI created. Like I was literally in. This is the ancient city of Teotihuacan outside of Mexico City. Okay, this is me at the ancient city of Chichen Itza. That's me right there. That is me taking pictures. At this one is in black and white. I can show you pictures too. What do all three of them have in common? They're all three pyramids. It How can all three of these pyramids be built almost in precise construction by people thousands of years ago that supposedly didn't have the technological prowess or intelligence, technological advancements that we have today? Right here in the Great Pyramid of Giza, do you understand that each one of these stones weighs tons? Each one of these individual, do you see these individual stones? Each one weighs between two tons and up. Each one. And you're telling me that there's millions of them, and slaves did it. Do you see how enormous these stones are? Stone is bigger than this lady standing here. And they're telling us slaves did it with pulleys. They had no advanced technology. Now, you can believe that if you like. When I saw it, I was like, oh, humans didn't build this. Humans didn't build it. How do we know that in Chichen Itza, every year, right here, look it up. Do you see these steps coming down? This is where there is the descent of who? Kukulkan, the serpent, the feathered serpent, like many civilizations around the world speak of a feathered serpent, a sky being, a dragon, a feathered serpent, a flying serpent. There's different iterations of it. Here he's called Kukulkan, where I lived in the Yucatan for many years. This is in the Yucatan. This is far away from this one. And these two are far away from this one. These beings created a global society, which we would call Atlantis. Now, look at this descent. Let me tell you how precise this pyramid is built. This pyramid is built so precisely that 25,000 people and more come to Mexico, to this ancient city of Chichen Itza, each year on the spring equinox to sit on this grass and at sundown watch the serpent of light and shadow. You could probably look it up, some videos on YouTube, descend down the mountain. And what you cannot see behind me is a giant serpent head. You cannot tell me anything about these ancient civilizations, about the ancient civilization, global civilizations of the Atlanteans. Atlantis was like a global civilization. It was global. It was everywhere. It was in the Americas. It was in Egypt. They had major outposts, and they were in Peru. I've been to Peru as well. So those same megalithic, ginormous stones that they're telling us slaves lifted with a pulley system. We need to stop believing the things that they have told us and start coming into understanding of the truth. Now, here, where is it? Let's end with this. Well, where is the ark, Kaisi? Where is it? The Kebra Nagast, which is the glory of the kings, Ethiopia, says King Menelik took it. King Menelik was the son of the Queen of Sheba and King Solomon. And they say that Menelik, he went to visit King Solomon. He was there at King Solomon's court. And supposedly he was so crafty and wise that he was able to make a double. And he took the true Ark of the Covenant and left a fake there and brought it back to Ethiopia, where it still is. And they say in Ethiopia, when they made the actual location of where the Ark of the Covenant is right now in Ethiopia, and a lot of people say it's in Ethiopia. And a few people have told me this in speaking to people who are from Ethiopia, that they even built a structure around the Ark of the Covenant that is too small for the Ark of the Covenant to exit through. So you would have to smash the building to get it out. And of course, they have keepers of the Ark of the Covenant, and you have to be chosen. You're chosen to stay there and with the Ark of the Covenant. Yet many of the people who guard the Ark of the Covenant, they say that they are only there for about 2 or 3 years, then they die because a lot of them get cataracts, a lot of them get sick. Sick. If it is in Ethiopia, it's still highly radioactive. It's still radiation. If it's in Ethiopia, some people say it's in Jerusalem. Remember, that's where it would have been because it was in Solomon's temple. And supposedly, now I don't know if Solomon's temple actually existed because they say that we have no evidence of any Solomon's temple. Yet we hear a lot of talk of it. So maybe one day we'll find it. So the ruins of it. Solomon's temple is where the Ark of the Covenant was stationed, according to the lore. Maybe it's still there. If it's still there, then it was taken down into Zedekiah's tunnel underneath what is now known as the Temple Mount. However, we can't dig over there because we know the three major religions are right there. The Western Wall of the Jewish people is there, the Wailing Wall, the Dome of the Rock is there, and we have the church there. You can't, Jerusalem. You can't touch a stone in Jerusalem because all the holy houses are there. So no one can dig under the Temple Mount. Cannot dig under there. Cannot do any construction under there to go digging around for the Ark of the Covenant. Maybe it's still down there in a cave. It could be at the Vatican. How would it have gotten to the Vatican? Well, if during the Second Temple building, they had the ark still and they were able to restore it to the Second Temple. The temple was destroyed in 70 CE by the Romans under Flavius Titus. He was one of the three Flavians, right? Under Titus, who sacked the Jerusalem temple, and they show them bringing the things, the gold, out of the Jerusalem temple. And if you go in Rome right now, they still have the relief of it. They still have it, where it is a sculpture of them carrying the sacred, treasured artifacts from the synagogue, which I just think is it's a travesty because we should never desecrate what other people hold sacred because we wouldn't want someone to come to our altar and be crazy. And so I'm not with desecrating other people's spiritual space where they meet God or where they want to talk to God or whatever their belief is. It's having respect for everyone's whatever they do with God. As long as they're not bothering other people, whatever you do with God, that's up to you. Well, I don't think it's in the Vatican, and here's why. When you look at the relief of all the things they carry, the menorah is there, but the Ark of the Covenant is not there. I don't think it got into the Second Temple. It could be in the caves of Jordan because according to some stories, when the Babylonians came to sack the first temple, Solomon's temple, around 587 BCE, they say Jeremiah knew about it and he got the Ark of the Covenant out some underground tunnels. And he got it out of Jerusalem because there was a siege. He got it out of Jerusalem. Out of Jerusalem. And he went to the caves of Jordan and hid it in one of the caves and put a stone in front. Now that is very possible because there have been people who have gone to Jordan around these caves. There's tons of caves though. And we don't know where the real Mount Sinai is from the Bible. So you would be looking and looking and looking and looking. And it's across a vast area because it could be from the Dead Sea all the way. It could be Jordan, Kuwait. Would Kuwait be in there? No, Saudi Arabia, Egypt. It's a large swath of land to search for all those caves to find the Ark of the Covenant. Yet there have been explorers who say that when they get near certain caves, it's just their metal detectors just go crazy. So there is said to have been great vast caches of gold and silver found in caves of Jordan. Yet we know from finding the Dead Sea Scrolls and all these things, a lot was hidden in those caves. But how are you going to find it? That's a possibility. Could be there. Um, Scotland, they say that the Knights Templar did find it. They brought it to Europe, and then they from Europe they took it up during the Inquisition and all that when they were coming after everybody. The Knights Templar took it up to Scotland, where it was in Rosslyn Chapel for a while, and then they say that Thomas Jefferson, because there's a lot of occult lore with the presidents of these United States of America, especially the first ones. They were Masons through and through. These were some occultists. Occultists started the United States of America. They were occultists practicing high magical arts. They were Masons. They were all occultists. So it could be that Thomas Jefferson, they say he was involved in a plot to move the Ark of the Covenant from Scotland over to the Americas because of the war that was going on with Napoleon Bonaparte. That could be a possibility. Here's my conclusions about the whole thing. Oh, let's go back to the capacitor and the electricity. This is something that I wanted to show you from the very beginning. The Ark of the Covenant is quite possibly a capacitor. Here is a capacitor. What is a capacitor? A capacitor has a conductive material inside and a conductive material outside with a layer in the middle that separates the two, like a Leyden jar. A Leyden jar is a jar with foil on the inside, foil on the outside. The glass is in the middle. That's a Leyden jar. You can take a picture of this if you desire. So you can look up Leyden jar. The Ark of the Covenant is a Leyden jar. Possibly. Why? Because it's made of acacia wood. It has the conductive gold lined all around the inside, gold lined all around the outside. And one of the cherubim could have been connected to the inner current of electricity, and the other cherubim could have connected to the outer current of electricity, hence making a Leyden jar. Let's take a picture of it. That's what it looks like. And here's a capacitor. So you have the negative and the positive. One cherubim could have been negative, one cherubim could have been positive. We do know that it's not really cherubim. We do know that. Now, here are my conclusions. I'm going to bring it to a close. Here are my conclusions. It's not holy, it's technology. It was a capacitor of some kind because people were commonly electrocuted around the Ark of the Covenant. It was also a communication device, communicating with the Elohim, possibly through holographic imaging. It was radioactive. I still believe to this day it's radioactive. People are after this Ark of the Covenant. If they could find it, whoever possesses this thing will probably possess a weapon of mass destruction. It was created by it was dictated, the specifications of it, by the Elohim, the Anuna, who were extremely advanced technologically. And it also could have been a weapon of some sort. Maybe had some kind of GPS mapping system in it because of guiding them through the wilderness, possibility. And it also could have done something with the water because when they got to the Jordan River, supposedly the water parted. We don't know if that's conjecture, lore, or just adding more to the lore and the legend of the Ark of the Covenant. And it could have been a weapon. It could have had something in it that could burst energy out, maybe even electrical current, hence causing the walls of Jericho to fall down, because we know a trumpet blast doesn't make the wall of Jericho come down. Remember, the truth doesn't require belief. And remember that we get to research, study, and meditate. And also remember that all truth starts as blasphemies. My computer is going bye-bye. Now, it says power me up, right? It's saying power me up. Now, here are important books to read. They'll be below this vid. Please, please, please use our Amazon link if you would be so kind. Please, please, please also absolutely put a like on this video. Subscribe to the channels, the Valerie Love YouTube channel and the Christian Witches YouTube channel. You must read the Naked Bible. You must read the Naked Bible. Mauro Bellino, who is a scholar of Hebrew and a translator who worked for the Vatican approved press to make a transliteration, a true translation of the Hebrew Bible into Italian for the Vatican. He can tell you word for word that God's not in the Bible. And he even stated that he found as many as 20 different Elohim in the Hebrew Bible. Ever wonder why they're calling God so many different things? That's why. Take a screenshot of this. These are some YouTube channels and some scholars that could be helpful to listen to as you deconstruct and as you come out of the old Christian story as we were told, and as you come into true gnosis. Gnosis. Okay? I do want to stress to meditate, family. If you do not meditate, then reading a bunch of books is just going to make us really big-headed. When we read, then we must reflect. I do a lot of reflecting and meditating, walking around, looking in nature, digesting what I've learned, integrating, growing in wisdom and understanding. Okay, family? I am so, 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 so happy you shared this time with me. Money in Vortex, yay! Yes, on Anchor. Welcome back to the channel. Yay! Yay, 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 yay. I am writing a book, The Real God is Not in the Bible. That will be coming out soon. It's got a ton of research that's going into this book. I love you. Absolutely make sure you go and you pick up those books that I'm talking about. Absolutely come with us to one of our events. We would love to see you in person so that we can hug your neck. Love you. Mwah. Peace. Pretty and intuitive. I see you in Bali. Yay! Love you, fam. Good night.